joins, when they join, they're welcome to join us. Okay. So I am hoping that you guys have prepared some questions because this is what the session is about. Before I start to pose some ideas or whatever. So, does anyone have a question that we want to start or begin with?
I do, yeah. Um, so yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. Um, do our loved ones watch what we're doing in our lives each day?
Very
Particularly if, particularly if they've left suddenly. Right? My younger brother's just left suddenly, a few months ago, and he was 46, and he's left two little children, and they all live in the UK. I'm the only one who lives away. And yeah, I've had some signs initially, and I'm very spiritual. I've looked at life after death for like the last 20 years and stuff. Um, and I had some signs initially, and I was quite close to him, but then nothing. Not, and it was 10 months ago. So whilst the kids kind of understand a little bit but don't, they've had some signs in their house from his partner, but not that much. And just wondering, it's not like him to keep quiet.
First of all, I am deeply sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
46 is too young.
Yeah,
Um, it must be devastating for his partner, for his family. I'm really sorry about this. Okay.
thank you.
Um, Now, yes, they do sort of interact with us and join us from the other side within reason. So, for instance, we do have our private moments, like when we're showering, when we're in the bathroom, when we're having our private times, and so forth. Then, in that case, they will not be able to interact with us or
Yeah,
view us or whatever. Generally, anything that any connection from the other side has to be established for a valid reason. It's not for entertainment purposes. So they do observe quite a bit of things from the other side. It's quite interesting how much they actually observe. Um, I've had people come through and they tell, "Mom, you cut your finger while chopping the carrots a few days ago." So it means the child was actually watching his mom while she was preparing a meal. And it's very significant why she was watching or he was watching what was going on, leading to the fact that mom cut herself by mistake. So whether they knew beforehand or not, I have no idea. But there is a lot of input from the other side at that level. Now, with regards to the audio silence, the mute, what is quite fascinating is this is what happens quite consistently. They initially connect with us, they send us signs, and everything is fine. And then they sort of vanish for a while. Why they do that is beyond my comprehension. I don't understand. I don't know why. Whether it is time for them to heal and go through the adjusting process, or whether they need to give us the space for us to grow, I have no idea. It's quite fascinating, Jules. I've had the same thing with my mom. When she left, when she, transitioned to the other side, I had one sign from her in a dream, and it was absolutely beautiful. And since then, nothing. Nothing
yeah.
whatsoever.
We do say because he was an electronic engineer, so we've all said, flash the lights. You do electronics, show us something electrically, turn the telly over. I've had things where when my dad passed, my TV used to turn over all the time on its own. And yeah, nothing.
I would say don't give up because coincidentally, yesterday I was sending out a thought to my mom in my prayers before bedtime. And I thought, and I said, it would be wonderful to feel you, to experience you again. Please visit me in my dream. And I left it at that. I didn't see anything yesterday. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe nothing for the next God knows long. The main thing is sometimes it's better not to seek it and just let it be. And they will come back to us in ways that we least expect it.
I have had a visitation dream probably about 2 months ago.
Okay.
I do dream very, very vividly, and always have. And I went to find him in my dream, and I found him straight away. And I went to warn him that he was going to die. And he was laughing, saying, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." And I kept saying, "You're going to die in a year's time." So it was like in my dream, I'd gone back a year. And I said, "I'm going to warn you, and you need to do something about your health. I don't know what you need to do because he had a heart attack." I said, "But you are going to die in August 2023. And he was laughing, saying, "I'm not going to die." And he pulled a coin out of his pocket. And on the coin, it had the 16th of August, 2023.
Wow.
And then he said, "I'm not going to die." And then he said, "I need to go and find my mum," because my mum doesn't believe in stuff like that. And they were very, very close. They lived not far from each other in the UK. So I took that to mean that, yeah, we don't die. He's just showing us we don't die. And that's why he's laughing, you know. But yeah, very real.
Yeah. Well, absolutely take it on board as a visitation, not just a passing dream.
Mm.
And this was his way of confirming to you, like, Jules, I'm not going to die, even though
Yeah.
I know that this has actually happened at a physical level. He is not going to die, and he's very much alive and kicking on the other side.
Mm.
Okay. I know you miss him, and I know that his family would be missing him, but let it be for now, and hopefully he will come through for you. Okay. And I pray from the bottom of my heart that he does.
Thank you.
Sure. Do you have
I
any?
I
Oh,
have a question, please. It is a similar question to Jules. I lost my parents from passing recently. My father 3 years ago, and my mom last year, and it was a process very painful to all of us. And I miss them dearly. I How can I know if they are okay, if they are well? Uh, uh, can they really send us a sign? Um, I don't really know if I can believe it, or I miss the signs they send. I really I would love to have a communication of some sort with them, but I don't know if it is really truth that they can send us informations or signs. Could you explain it a bit more or better?
again, I am very sorry for your losses. Losing one parent is devastating enough. Losing both is very, very difficult. Okay. So, Paula, as I said before, they are very much alive and kicking on the other side. Alive and kicking means that they're good, they're happy. Okay. In fact, above happy. Um, I've been in the field for over 30 years. I've done thousands of readings, I've met so many people, and so forth. They all consistently come back to us with the same thing. We're happy. They can't describe what it's like on the other side. I don't think our brains can comprehend it. Okay? It's like me trying to speak to you in Arabic. You don't speak Arabic, probably. You won't understand what I'm saying. So it's a similar sort of setup here. Now, the problem here is that we need to know, we need the confirmation to us, we need the peace, we need to bring closure. I need to know that my mom is good on the other side. But, in your heart, you need to trust that they are both in a good place. Okay. Yes, it's not a tangible place. We can't touch it, we can't feel it, we can't see it with our own eyes, but you can feel it in your heart. That
Mhm.
they are there.
I often pray for them. Um, i- is there the purgatory? Do you believe it? I'm Christian,
Yeah.
and something mixed up the I don't know in what belief. I pray. I'm Catholic, and I pray the Rosary and to those souls of the purgatory. Uh, could you uh, tell me more about that?
Um, okay, I am not Catholic myself, but my background is I grew up in a Catholic community in Lebanon, very hardcore Catholics. Uh, and because they picked on me because I was from a different persuasion, I am Protestant by origin, and they picked on me. I put it in my head that I'm going to learn everything about Catholicism, their religion, and
Mhm.
this way I can counter the attacks. My dear, Jesus is about love. Okay, Jesus came to our planet here to spread love. Love and fear cannot exist at the same
Mhm.
time. That you can either have love or you can have fear. You can have both. It's not right. It's like you saying to me, "Can you make me a hot cold tea, Garo?" It
Mhm.
doesn't. Okay. All
Okay.
all these ideas from the past, purgatory and hell and so forth,
Mhm.
are a bunch of nonsense.
Okay. I understand that.
Okay. So
Mhm.
by all means, continue to pray. I would say pray because prayer is beautiful. And prayer is often understood and received on the other side, and it is very much appreciated.
Mhm.
But I would say take out the ideas from your head that are only valid from 3,000 years ago, and it was a means of controlling the people back then. With
People. Mhm.
yeah? Because Jesus is all about love.
Mhm.
Jesus did not come here to scare people,
Okay.
and Jesus came here to help people, to heal people, not to scare people. In fact, the only people who were scared of him were the people who had hidden agendas or did not want him to achieve certain ways, or they were the enemies of Christ or God. So remove it from your head. Please remember that your parents are in a good place, even if they had done wrong. There is no sin in this world. Look at it from this perspective. God created us from his own image, according to the Bible.
Mhm.
So, how could we be sinful if he created us from his own image?
Mhm.
Okay? If we are
Thank
that,
you for your words.
I'm sorry,
Thank you. Thank you for your words. They are beautiful.
you're welcome.
Okay.
Honestly, you need to look at yourself and love yourself because I do believe, I do believe very strongly, Christ Almighty, who came from a very advanced realm in from the afterlife or wherever he came from, this advanced, beautiful soul saw beauty in us, and he came to restore that beauty. He came to give us love and faith. He said, pray for the sick, help the poor, wash the feet of the people that serve you, wash people, feed others, help people. This is why he came, because he sees the love in all of us, he sees the beauty in all of
Mhm.
us. So let that go.
Thank you.
So who else have we got? We have any questions before we're still warming up here? And Stephanie and Liz, lovely to see you guys always.
I have I'm curious about something. I don't know if you'll have the answer for it, but out of curiosity, if somebody is in like a coma on life support and they're non-responsive, like, are you like, would you be able to communicate with them? Because they're not like, and I don't know, are they still in their body? Or are they floating above? Are they like, what are your thoughts on something like that? I'm just curious.
This is a beautiful question, by the way, Stephanie. Wonderful. Thank you. Actually, this is a mysterious question because in some instances where people were in coma, when they come back, they're able to recollect and recount some of the experiences that occurred around them during the coma. They are able to recall some of the conversations their people have had with them during the coma. Was it auditory or was it their spirit hearing? I have no idea. But it seems at some level we can connect with them. Personally, I always say to parents with their children who are in coma or their loved ones or whatever, I always say to them, link with them. Don't give up. You may not get a response. You may never get a response, but it doesn't mean that the words are not going somewhere, even if it is the feelings. Okay? Perhaps one day the science might progress to a level where we're able to determine if they are actually taking things on board or not. But until that day, I can't say that I know the answer to this, but I certainly know that we should never give up and we should continue linking with them because at some sort of level, they're able to connect.
Very nice. No, I totally agree with that. I believe that they can hear you, and yeah, I have to agree. I was just curious what your thoughts were.
Thank you, Stephanie. As I said, this is a wonderful question. I've had this question once before from a lady who asked me about this point, and I gave her the exact answer. In fact, I'm just remembering now how silly of me. I dealt with a child who was the victim of a car crash, a serious car crash. Mm-hmm. And it was head trauma. Part of his brain had died, and there was no way that he was to recover. The doctors, the surgeons had told his parents to prepare to take the body back to Africa, where he was living. This was in London. The parents sent after me, and because I'm a healer as well. Mm-hmm. And I went to the hospital, and even though this was a lost case, he was literally in a coma with automotor function, where his hand would go like this occasionally. So, of course, he wasn't here. But for what it's worth, for 3 months, I went every other day to the hospital, would kneel by his bedside and pray from the bottom of my heart. After 3 months, the child recovered. I'm not the healer. I'm God's servant. God is the healer. I don't claim to have anything in this, but I'm privileged and honored that I had the chance to serve him. And after 3 months, with my own eyes, I saw this child open his eyes and starting to interact with us. And soon after, he started to say things. After a while, Stephanie, remembering things I had told him during the process.
Wow.
So I was like, how could you remember this? Because I would sometimes speak to him in private and I'd tell him, look, I believe in you. You're my champion. And I know you're going to walk. And I know you're going to come back. And I know you're going to pull through. And sometimes I would joke with him as well. And I'd say, look, I've got a girlfriend for you. She has all her teeth. Just to make him, he wouldn't react. I didn't care less. And then in the end, when he came through, he sees me as his dad. Now he acts as if he's my son. And he recovered in a miraculous way. He aced his college degree. He's playing football. He's bodybuilding, and
Wow.
hopefully he's got a girlfriend. I hope he's managed. He's still quirky because the brain was had gone through such trauma. We're lucky
Yeah.
to have him alive, but he is the most beautiful, beautiful human being I know.
That's a beautiful story.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, I have a little story to tell. It's kind of long, but I'll try to limit what I say here about it. But my grandmother was my best friend. I talked to her every day, and we had a very close kind of soul connection, I think. And 2 days before I was told anything, I knew something was not right, and I kept telling my uncle, go check her, go check her. And he said, well, and I take her to the doctor in a couple days. I'll go check on her then. I said, no, go check her, go check her. Well, she ended up, they found her on the floor. She had had a heart attack and a stroke and was on the floor. And I drove down. It was about an hour and a half drive down. And when I walked in, they said, the hospice was there in the hospital with her. And they said, she is in a coma. She can't hear you. She can't respond to you. I ignored them. And they said she didn't have her hearing aid then. And so loud as I could, I said, hey, Grandma, I'm here. And she moaned. So, she heard me. And they were all kind of shocked by me, talking to her. And well, she hasn't done anything in days. And so I stayed with her for many days and talked to her. She couldn't respond other than kind of moaning. And I told her, just if it's a yes, just kind of moan if you can. And she did. She responded quite a bit for the first few days. And then probably by the third day, she stopped responding as much. And I started playing music, and she started tapping her hand. She was paralyzed on the one side, but her one side, I was holding her hand. She just started tapping it to the music. So I feel like even though the doctors can say they aren't there, there's part of them that the doctors just don't know. They don't know. And me, I'm a scientist, doctor almost. So I was very concerned because she lived for about 6 days in the hospital, and then I told her, I said, it's okay, Grandma, you can kind of go now. And she died that night. And this was 8 years ago. About a week ago, I had a reading with a lady in the group Proof of Life After Death. Her name is Camille, and she connected with my grandma. And I said, did she know? Did she know that I was there? Because the doctors said she wouldn't know that I was there, even though I knew that she was there and she was hearing me, and she knew. And so Camille said, yeah, she was on a different vibration at that time than she was when she was fully alive and well, but she could sense me there. She could sense the things that I was saying and doing. It was more of a feeling. So I feel like if somebody's in a coma, you should talk to them and you should interact with them as if not that everything's perfect and good, but there's got to be that connection that you feel the love, that they feel your love. Because when I was with her in the hospital, even her own kids didn't come around. They just didn't care. They just are very selfish people. But she and I had this connection, and we still do. I mean, I have abilities, and I feel her around me all the time, and I talk to her still. She's not here, but I still talk to her. And when I do readings like with Camille, she comes through, and it's kind of cool. I mean, I think that if someone's in a coma, it doesn't all have to be, sadness. And I mean, it is sad, but it doesn't have to be, because they're your people that you love. You should always love them and let them know. I didn't leave anything unsaid with my grandma. I never did.
Erica, first of all, what you reminded me of what a very dear friend of mine once told me, and he said, you can only be kind to people when they're alive. So even if she is in a coma, she's still alive. Technically, she's not dead.
Mm-hmm.
So you doing what you did, connecting with her, is priceless. This is what life is about. The others should be ashamed of themselves for being so selfish.
Yeah.
It's inexcusable. How they can live with themselves is something that they will have to deal with. But you shine through this. And yes, I do believe very strongly that coma or no coma, people can feel and people we can connect with. And especially if you are in coma, because then you are deprived of so many other senses. And this feeling that we have, the, let's say, empathy or whatever you want to call it, that's quite heightened. So you have nothing else. You don't have vision, you don't have auditory, you don't, so that's heightened. So it will be taken on board. And I'm sure that your grandma had benefited from your linking with her. Okay? So really respect you for that. Well done.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I love her.
Well done. Now, guys, let's go to some of questions that I posted on the Proof of Life when I announced that we're going to have this meeting today. And I was hoping to get religious people here, not to challenge them, definitely not. I will never insult any people this way, but to discuss with them the pros, the cons, where we are right, where we are wrong. And one of the questions that I get sometimes, not questions, but I get these brief statements from some people saying to me, you are doing against the work of God. You're going against the word of God. You should not be contacting with them. So I have always wanted to discuss this because I am the believers and one of the believers in the Son of Man, who you guys call Christ, Jesus. So I'm one of the believers in him, the Son of Man. Some people call him the Son of God. I refer to him as Son of Man because he called himself the Son of Man. So, and I've read the New Testament many times. I have never come across any part in the New Testament where Jesus or the Son of Man actually says that communicating on the other side is forbidden. I've never seen anything like this. So when they come up, they refer to parts of the Bible that are nothing to do with the Son of Man. And this here is a discrepancy because I don't subscribe to that. So I'd like your points, and especially Paula, because Paula, you are from a Catholic background. Do you see what I do is wrong?
Well, I believe, and I have this strong belief that the only law of God is love. It's the only law that we have to take seriously. And there are I have my faith, but I'm not so religious like that. I believe in love. I believe in Jesus and God and everything which is positive and do the good to others, to the other people. Unconditional love, is what I believe. And the Gospels and they can be not interpreted like people interpret or I don't know the word
That's okay.
to.
That's okay. You're doing well.
I think people, gospels can have many interpretations by people, but the only law that I believe is unconditional love. And if you have love in your heart, you are with God, and spread that love to others. That's our mission in our planet. That's why we incarnate in this planet. It's to evaluate, to evaluate,
Right.
and be better. And in our journey, spiritual journey, and the love is the stair to heaven. I think we have to follow our intuition, our heart, and don't discriminate no one. No one. We are here to love and to teach others if we can, to also love other people. That's the law of God in which I believe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't. I can't speak better in English, and I'm not so religious like that.
Okay. Well, you make perfect sense. We understand you. Thank you for putting the effort to speak with us. We totally understand what you're saying, and I love the way you think, by the way, because this is true. Fundamentally, we're here about love. This is why we're here. Okay? Everyone here who's present believes in the same sort of mentality. And however, ladies, what do you guys have to say about this? Uh, am I violating the rule of the Son of Man?
No, I don't think you are at all. You're connecting, you're bonding people. It's all about love. The religions, they use fear tactics and rituals and things like that to control people. And what you do is help people. There's nothing wrong with what you do. Even if somebody says, well, it's not in the Bible, or the Bible says something different, then they are the ones that are wrong. They're interpreting something completely off the wall, and they are the wrong ones, not you, because you aren't you're not stealing from people, you're not lying to people, you're not doing all these things that are bad. You're doing good. What you do is good.
Thank you.
Helps people.
Thank you. Stephanie, Liz, anything you got this one? Liz, you're muted.
Is that better?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I agree with Paula and Erica for sure. And I think the people that say that you're not doing good and it goes against the Bible, I believe that's just kind of the dogma of the church and the power that they want over people.
Thank you.
I think it's wonderful that you can reach out like that.
And Stephanie, do you want to add anything before I comment on this?
No, well, yes. I agree with the other ladies. I don't think what you're doing is wrong. My belief really is that it's a gift. I believe that you were given that, and right up there with the God-given talent, with the, I don't know, I believe it's, God wanted you to have that gift. It's like the angels. I believe that there's a reason why some people are able to communicate the way that you are. And I think it's a blessing. Yeah. No.
Thank you very much.
I really think it's a blessing and a gift, really. And that's nothing wrong with that. I can express myself in a better way. I think it really it's a gift.
Okay. Well, thank you all for your input here. I'm going to tell you a little story. I've had this, forgive me if I'm moving around, I'm not very comfortable. Anyway, I've had this pest, someone who's annoying, who sometimes posts and says that I am doing the wrong things, that I am violating the Bible, that I'm doing. This same person one day said, how come you can't be doing the work for God or God's work if you have God's gift? You can't be doing it when you're charging money for it. So I thought, okay, let's have fun with him. So I say, are you saying that I have been gifted this by God? It's not my natural ability? He said, yeah, you have a gift from God. You shouldn't be charging from it. And I said, can you explain why God would gift me something that would enable me to violate the Bible? You know, he couldn't answer. But the answer is, oh, God is testing you. Rubbish. Testing what? I give you something to test you. A, I know the result anyway because I know everything. I'm supposed to be God who knows everything. B, what's the point in me giving you a gift which will enable you, which will allow you to violate the law of the Bible, which I sent through various people, including my own son? Why would I give you a gift that can allow you to do that? Doesn't make sense to me. They couldn't answer. Which brings me to the other thing, which is, should psychic mediums charge for their ability or not? I often get asked about this. Why do you charge? Why do you charge? Well, in an ideal world where money is not ruling this planet and where people have everything that is provided to us and shared abundantly so that people don't go hungry, schooling is free, medical is free, and everything else is free, I wouldn't be charging. But in a world where everything is operated with money, I need to be part of this world. My feet are here on this planet. I have a daughter to feed, to clothe. I have a daughter to put in school. I need to feed her. I'm not seeking to become a millionaire from it. Definitely not. In fact, what I'm charging is quite little compared to some of these mainstream mediums out there who charge crazy amounts of money. Have you seen John Edward? He charges thousands of dollars for private sittings. Thousands. I don't do that, and I will never do that. So someone said, well, if you're a man of God, you don't charge. Yes. If I was in an ideal situation, I would never charge. But I'm not. When I was financially much better than where I was now, when I am now, I never charged a penny. I did all my volunteer work in the church, the healing work and everything, and I still do the healing work, and I never ever charge for it. Because healing is not my ability. Healing is from God. But when it comes to psychic readings, I do charge. And I feel that it's only appropriate to do so. So, what are your feelings about this?
Well, I think that everybody has a God-given gift charges. If you're given a great singing voice, you make records and you get paid. If you are very smart, you become a doctor or a lawyer, you get paid. You know, your gift is way up and above somebody who is a singer or a dancer or whatever it might be. It's a little bit different, but people get paid. You're in the world. You have to do something. It's what you were given, and you have to. It'd be silly for you to be a plumber and do this on the side. It would be silly, kind of.
I mean, I fully agree with you. I wish I would win the lottery. Seriously, if I won the lottery, then that would enable me to make investments, live on them, and this way I would chart pittance so that I can see everybody, rich or poor. I can help everybody. Incidentally, I do give free readings to those who cannot afford it and can demonstrate as such. So, yeah, point taken. Thank you. Anyone else wants to add to this?
Garo?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
absolutely.
Okay, I think of course you have to make a living and charge for your services. And you do not charge that much at all compared to anybody else that I've known. So yeah, of course you have to charge.
Thank you.
Hmm.
The point about not charging that much, this was enforced on me by my communicator. He said, you will charge a modest amount. He said, remember, give us this day our daily bread. You will charge just enough to have the daily bread to cover some of your expenses, just enough. And I feel comfortable. I don't want more. I'd feel very awkward. With this, it's affordable for people across many uh, cultures, many different uh, geolocations, and so forth. So I feel this is the more appropriate amount. Okay, well, I am now ready to ask you to discuss something which we discussed earlier with Paula. She asked me, and the question I had written here, what is the afterlife really like? Is it as wonderful as they say it is? So, because I answered earlier, what would be fascinating is I would love to hear your answers. How do you feel it? How do you see it in your hearts? How do you imagine it to be? Whoever wants to go ahead, please feel free.
I think it's probably just paradise, something that we can't really put into words. A place that's got wonderful colors, smells, love all around, forgiveness. It's something that I will certainly look forward to when it's my time. And with people that have passed that I've known, I know they're in a much better place. I know that's no cliche, but truly, truly believe that they are extremely happy.
And the bad people that die, where do they go?
Very interesting point, but we will come to this point, okay? If you don't mind, let's talk about the good ones first. Uh, Erica, how do you see the other side? I mean, do you see it as beautiful or do you see it like, eh?
Oh yeah, beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have my own abilities as well, and I kind of know things, and I've learned a lot. I've been learning a lot over the last couple of years about that, and I think that it's all just love, pure love, and I think God is love, and to be in heaven is just happiness and love. That's it.
Well, I agree with you. You see, we're all struggling to put the words to describe it because really we can't describe it.
Mhm.
It's so hard to articulate or to find the words even. I don't think we can as humans. But I do agree one thing, and as I talk now, I've got goosebumps all over, which confirms to me that we are all on track here. It is absolutely wondrous. It's so amazingly beautiful. My communicator, once I asked him, I said, can you allow me can I see? Can I? And he said, no. I said, please, why not? And he said, because you will never want to come back. Come back here, I mean. So he wouldn't let me. And I don't blame him. It's so beautiful. Now, Paula, I don't think the world, especially the other side, is made in a way where it's black and white. I don't think there's a conveyor belt where everybody gets judged and there's a book, people, Paula Santos, you were an angel on earth, a beautiful soul. You believe in God and blah, blah. You go to heaven. Garo, haha, what can we say? You were naughty back then, you're naughty now, and we send you to hell. What did I do? You lied to your daughter. How did I lie to my daughter? You said that there is Santa Claus. But that's a child. Well, you lied. Technically, you lied to hell. To hell for that? To eternity? I'm going to burn in hell until the... Yes, technically, you lied. I don't believe in this nonsense. Whoever created this nonsense is a psycho. This is not someone who says that they are of love. Because a God who loves his people would not say the shepherd would leave the flock and go and look for the lost sheep. Meaning that everyone is treasured, everyone is valued. If we're that valued and treasured, why are you sending me to hell to burn to eternity? What good will that give you?
Well, I think hell may be a figure of speech. Probably there will be levels of being, levels of state. Some spirits could be suffering something. I don't know what. It's all a mystery. But I think they have levels like we have levels in Earth, and due to their ignorance, probably. I don't know.
We have, if I'm not mistaken, addressed this very question before. Forgive me, you're dealing with a guy who is now 57 years old, and I tend to forget things. So, in short, from what we've discussed previously, and forgive me if I'm repeating myself here, guys, from what we've discussed previously, everything should serve a purpose. I am not saying that murderers, criminals, those who do some wicked things here on earth can get away with it. No. There will be judgment of some sort. But who is the biggest judge for us in the world, apart from what we are hearing, that God is the judge? We are our own judges. Because when we go over to the other side, assuming I'm a murderer and I killed somebody, I go to the other side. I will probably end up in one of those levels that you talked about, where I'm not allowed to go forward, I'm not allowed to go back. In that level, I have to be by myself to come to terms with what I did. And then I have to face it, possibly maybe meet the victim and sit with them, or maybe the victims and their families, and listen to what they have to say. and take everything on board. Remember, we are transparent when we go to the spirit world. There's no more facade, there's no more acting. We can't fool the greatest power in the universe. So until such time when the actual truth comes out from the person, when they truly repent what they have done, they are to stay there and keep getting a taste of what it's like to have taken the life of someone unjustly. I feel that this is the hell. I don't believe that there's flames and burning and so forth. I fail to understand what purpose that will serve. You know, I don't understand that. But a lesson learned from the experience is, for me, it feels more realistic. So,
And what about monsters like Hitler? Do you think the same is in store for him?
definitely, I mean, he's got to go through 6 million victims. Now, this is hell on earth, hell in heaven, hell in, well, in the afterlife, not heaven. But this is hell for him. He has to sit there and take on board what 6 million people, 6 million souls are going to share with him. Every one of them is a tragic story. Every one of them was taken from loving people, loving family, children, or parents, or whatever. So he's going to have to sit through that. And that's going to take a long, long, long time. And you know what? God has all the time in the world for him. So, yeah, it depends at the level, as Paula said.
May I ask a question? Have you ever, Garo, meet a suffering spirit in your readings?
What do you mean by suffering spirit, please?
A spirit that was in suffer. Um,
I'm sorry, your voice went. Hang on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. A spirit that shows suffering and I don't know, who doesn't accept that he is dead or something like that.
Let me just clarify so I'm not talking nonsense, okay? So I can understand what your question is. When you say a suffering spirit, do you mean somebody who did something wrong here and is suffering on the other side because of what they did here?
Yes, yes.
Yes, many times. I've had abusive fathers who had abused their daughters or sons. I've had them come through. I've had murderers who have taken people's lives come through. I've had people at all levels. I've had evil people come through. But they've come to ask for forgiveness. People who have hurt people here. And it's quite interesting. And this is why I love what I do. Because I'm learning from people. I'm learning to be less vindictive myself and less angry myself. So the people I give readings to who have been wronged by these people, it takes them some time. But eventually, God and his blessed angels do the magic. And they sort of find it in their heart to forgive them. And this, Paula, opens my eyes and humbles me so much that, wow, what a powerful person you are to actually allow the apology. I mean, I've had people come through where the man would say, for instance, to his daughter that he had actually raped, he had actually hurt very badly. And he said that he can't find the words to express his sorrow and so forth and blah blah blah. And he only prays that she will forgive him, not because he wants to move on. No, he doesn't feel he deserves that, but because he has come to the realization of what he had done, the pain that he has caused, or the beatings for some of the son or so forth. So those who are meant to come through, they will come through. This is a very interesting point you just raised, and it's made me think just now on the spot. Anyone who has come through at that sort of level, my client would have connected with them and forgiven them. It's fascinating that they are actually allowed to come through. Perhaps Spirit knows that it is the right time. Perhaps they know that this man or woman is genuinely in a way that they want forgiveness, and they let them come through. So I've had these people. Yes.
I have an example of that. Our first meeting, probably 2 years ago, was a reading that I signed up for, and you said, don't say anything, just let me talk. And my husband came through, my father came through, my grandfather came through. And I had said, I don't care to hear from any three of them. I don't. If I see them in heaven, I'm going to bypass them. I don't care what they did to me on this earth. I don't care. So cut to now, 2 years later, I have heard from them, and I don't know if forgiveness is the right word, but they are very apologetic, and I know that they are now sincere, and because in heaven they have seen what they did to me and how it affected me, and it makes my soul lighter, makes me have less anger. So I've been working on this for a couple years, trying to figure out what do I do to not be so bitter and angry. And the readings that I've had with you, and then now as I said with Camille, she's connected with them as well, mostly my husband. And recently we did a group Zoom meeting, kind of a demonstration with Camille, and my husband came through first thing and very, strong and apologizing. And that on the other side, he gets to experience the hurt that he put me through. And I don't feel like, okay, good for you. You get to suffer like you made me suffer. I don't feel that way, but it gives me some kind of comfort. It's hard to explain how I feel, but I feel better. There's a lot to it, I guess. But, and I also believe in reincarnation. That's a whole nother sort of thing. I believe in reincarnation as well. But, as far as them being in heaven and that they get to, like you said, Hitler gets to, go through 6 million lives. Well, then even more than that, because all the people that he killed, they had families, they had loved ones, they had all these people that he has to kind of answer to all of them as well, I feel. Yeah, it's very complex, but not.
Erica, let me begin by saying you've just proven to yourself why I'm very fond of you, and I have the world of respect for you for having come through such a difficult background, and yet you found it in your heart to find peace. I'm not going to say forgive, but to find the peace that you can live with. That's all that we need right now, okay? Part 2, maybe in heaven, maybe here, we don't know. But the fact that you're not closing them off, saying, you know what, I don't want to hear from them. I don't want to deal with them. That's fair enough. That's respect. Well done to you. As for Hitler, we're talking about the 6 million people, but let's not forget the soldiers and their families that also died because of him. the Allies, their families, and even the Germans who he manipulated and cheated and lied to. So this guy, I think, is going to be in there for a very, very, very long time by Earth standards. Probably planet Earth will end before he comes back. So that's what he deserves. Stephanie, anything you want to say? I'm sorry, I'm not putting you under the hot spot here.
No, I'm just, I have to agree with just as far as side and the levels and all of that. No, I just appreciate everybody sharing.
Okay, Stephanie, for me at least, your connection seems to have gone very strange. So I wasn't able to hear what you just said. I don't know if the other ladies heard you.
No, I did not.
Yeah, sorry, Stephanie.
That's okay. I think it's I'm having my computer's going in and out. I don't know if you can hear me now.
You can, yeah.
No. Okay. No, but what I was saying is that I'm kind of right there on the same, you know, as far as the beliefs and the different levels and what it's like on the other side. I really kind of guess the more like-minded with everybody else. I'm happy to be here.
I'm sorry,
Can you
Stephanie.
hear me?
It's gone crazy again. I'm really sorry. That's okay.
Sorry.
Perhaps,
I'm guessing that
perhaps,
from my internet.
I'm sorry. Perhaps you would want to type it in a chat, and I'll read it to the group.
Okay.
If you want to, you could type it, and we can all read it if you want to. Sorry about this.
Okay. No, that's okay. Just give me a second. So keep going and I'll type.
I'm going to mute you. Here we go. Thank you. Liz, do you have any input on this? You need to unmute, my dear.
I I'm not an IT person at all.
Don't worry.
I'm not sure. I left for a couple minutes. I'm not sure what the input is, what the question is,
Oh,
what we're
okay.
talking about.
Okay. Paula initially started the whole thing by asking, do I ever get people who are suffering from the other side? People who have wronged people here on this side of the planet, on this side of life,
Right, I remember that.
and they've left, yeah. So, and I said, yeah, sometimes they do. I've had them quite often at different levels. Some of them, of course, heavier than others, but they have come through. And then Erica here very kindly shared that she has found a way to find some peace because she had to deal with some unsavory characters in her life previously. So she gave a prime example here of what it's like, and she is a changed woman as a result. What do you say, Liz? Should we forgive them, or should we just tell them to take a hike and go back to where they came from?
Well, I believe in forgiveness 100%.
Why?
If one's able to.
Why do you want to forgive them?
It's healthier for your own soul and your own physical, your own body. And if they're coming through to ask for forgiveness, I think you need to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Bless you. That's true. That's very true. I think one of the biggest sins that we live with is our own pride and ego. Most of the people that I have sort of come across who have been victims of abuse or suffering or so forth, bless their souls, they have been hurt. But also, there is a proportional amount, I don't know how much, but there is an amount of ego and vengeance in there. And we need to let that part go. If we want to be at a different level than our abusers, we need to let go. We need to let go so that we can also progress. Otherwise, we'll be stuck at the same level as them. And then we go back to exactly what I said earlier. What good will that serve? How much hate or anger can you harbor in your heart? And for how long? Eventually, this is going to make you crack. They've died. They're on the other side. Eventually, they're going to move on one day. But you don't have that privilege. You need to work on yourself now, here, to be prepared for what's to come later. So I do fully agree with you, Liz. You need to liberate yourself from it. So, Erica, the work that you've done in 2 years, imagine what's to come in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, I pray from the bottom of my heart that you only get the biggest tickles to your soul, make you smile and laugh, and to make you look back and say, I am a damn champion, I am. Champion. Because it's not easy to be where you are, but you've sort of started taking the steps now. Well done to you.
Thank you. Yeah, it hinders me, to be bitter and angry and, just pissed off about what happened to me. I'm 53 and I've just experienced 53 years of I don't want to say torture, but yeah, torture. And, I could say, God will take care of them and they'll get what they deserve, but that's not for me to say or decide either. That's up between them and God. And the things that I've learned in these last couple of years is that they are seeing what they did, that their actions caused bad reactions, and they're seeing that. And, that's between them and God now, not me. I have to let it go.
Absolutely. And plus, if you are, one has to be very careful how much we actually uh, participate into making this sort of judgment here. That, you know what I mean? Indirectly, like, God will see to it. No, we don't know what God will decide. We don't know. I mean, did the people really expect Christ to forgive the man on his right or left? I can't even remember, forgive me. But to forgive him and say that you're going to be in heaven with me? No. He is on the cross. He is a criminal. But there you go. Christ has forgiven him on the spot, which shows how Christ has actually bypassed everything else. And the rule of love shows itself even on the cross, even at a very difficult time. So well done to everybody. Here we have the text from Stephanie. Stephanie, did you write your life story? I don't know if you guys are able to read this, but Stephanie writes, I tend to believe that people who have done great harm, who have passed and tried to come through, ask for forgiveness, it is not just about them coming to terms with what they have done, but it can be healing for one to forgive, not forget, but to move forward. That what is on the other side will be different for all, but feel like it is all about love and light, positive energy for most. Absolutely. Bless your heart, Stephanie. Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. It works in both ways. The circle of life and death, the circle of wrong and right, this is what the life is made of. And we are here to love and to forgive. This is why Christ was teaching this to us. Because if we love and we forgive, there would be no need for bullets on this planet. There would be no wars. There would be no injustice. There would be no hate. People who rule with fear don't want that. People want the power because the devil is whispering things in their ears, making them feel that they are above others, they're smarter, that they need to achieve more at the expense of others. And hence they will spread this fear. But otherwise, this fear always crumbles, and it will crumble. By the way, from all that you see in the world right now, we are at an extreme. Hatred is arising, and there's a lot of pain, and people are suffering all over. This is temporary. This is not going to be forever. This is temporary. And no, God is not testing us. He doesn't need to test us. He knows the results anyway, so why would he need to test us? So this is our own doing. We are evolving. And one day we will evolve a bit more than this to understand that there's no need for this nonsense. Okay? Spirituality will kick in. The spirit world will always win. Trust them. So, my friends, we have, are we being tested in this life? Especially when it comes to losing a loved one. Is God testing us? I mean, I was asked by a lady once, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done to God for him to take my daughter away? Is God testing me? And I said, no, God is not testing you. It so happened that the girl that passed away had taken drugs, and she'd taken the wrong drugs that resulted in her losing her life. God didn't have anything to this. God gave you a brain, a mind, to know that you should not be doing things you should not be doing, full stop. And if you do something that is against natural law, you're going to die unnaturally. That's my point of view. I'd like to hear what your point of view is.
Do you believe that we have an hour that is a date to go, to pass? That it is already dated to
Uh,
to transcend?
I don't know, Paula. Some people seem to have predicted their death.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, some people, I mean, my mother, a few months before she passed, I told her, Mom, I will come and visit you in the summer. And she said, I may not be here, son.
Mm-hmm.
How did she know? And then before she
My mother too. My mother too.
Yeah.
She has told me some months before that she will die choked with food, and I told her, well, we have to be careful to the food, and some months later she really died choked.
Wow.
Yes.
It's amazing. You see, so I don't know. I really don't know the answer. I don't know. I don't think that it's written somewhere. Like Garo will pass November 2027, for instance. I don't think it's that way. But I think maybe some of us are lucky enough to be prepared somehow. And they seem to be at peace. They can't explain it. My mom never explained it to me. She never actually said to me, son, I saw something, I heard something, or nothing. She just told me, I may not be here, son. In fact, not may. She said, I will not be here. And then we found later that she had visited all the relatives that she hadn't seen in years. She visited friends. It's like she was saying goodbye to everybody. How did she feel this? I have no idea. Your mom, maybe Paula, maybe your mom had the same sort of feeling where she said goodbye to people, prepared for her passing. Absolutely remarkable. Who knows?
Anyway, all of us, we will go, we will pass. So that's life.
Yeah, it is. Whether it's set in stone or what, I don't know. It's quite interesting. Maybe when we go, we might understand better. Incidentally, I once, through my communicator, he told me, don't think you will get all the answers when you come here. He said, even us, we don't have the answers. He said, you'll never possibly understand everything that's going on. And it's true.
Well, I know when people are going to die. I've been like that for many, many, many years since I was a teenager. I've known a lot of things. I don't know how I know them. I just know them. Um, not so much my own death. I don't have that in my head yet, but it's happened too many times to count. How I know, I don't know. I just know.
Well, that's a gift in itself, because that's good to know. Maybe that's where you're prepared. But then your gift is at a fascinating level altogether. So I wouldn't be surprised if your gift of intuition can reach these levels. Fascinating.
Yeah, I was 18 and I tell you, I get this nagging. It's like a nagging and it doesn't stop. And I have to write it down. And right before we started talking, I wrote God or devil. And then you started talking about, is it God, is it devil? But I was 18 and there was someone that we knew was going to get married. They were driving, and in my head it was that nagging, take Diane in the house so you can see her dress. And it kept repeating for like 20 minutes, and I ignored it. And to this day, I am very sad by that. I ignored it, and they were killed that night. And I feel like if I had just taken her in the house and looked at her dress, they would have, been 5 minutes delayed, and they wouldn't have been killed. And when the moment they were killed, I knew. I had this sudden sense of sadness and dread, and I just knew that they were killed. And I didn't find out till the next day that they were killed. But yeah, so stuff like that happens to me all the time. Like when my dad died in January of '95, and in November before that, I knew, and I knew for all those months. Every day I knew, but I don't think on it. I don't act on it. Well, I try not to think on it, but I don't act on it sometimes. So there's this knowing. So basically, I'm a claircognate. I just know things. I don't know how I know them, and I have to try to figure it out. What do I do with what I know, or what's nagging me? What do I do with it? That's part of my process right now, trying to figure it out.
Do you still feel guilty about not telling them to come in?
Yeah, I do.
Look,
But I think that guilt makes me more aware now, makes me act on the things that I am getting, nagging, saying, whatever if I say it, it's because I'm being nagged to say it. And so I do, and I react more now. I think that probably laid the path of, if I don't, now I don't feel like it was my fault. I just feel like I need to do and act more now.
it's a lesson learned. Let me give you an example here. You know what a carpenter is? They do woodwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
A carpenter isn't born immediately to know exactly how to hit the nails and so forth. How many times does a carpenter hit himself or herself before they actually master their skill? Many times.
Mm-hmm.
Take it as such. This was a lesson for you to learn. Simple. And you were not responsible. Now, I'm not going to say that this was their fate. This was the easy way out. People will tell you, oh, it's their fate. Rubbish. I don't believe in that. Okay. What I believe in is that things happen. We have somebody here who's claircognitive. Is that what you said?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you have this amazing gift. So that was a wake-up call for you. If ever you
Yeah.
feel something, don't hesitate, act on it.
Yeah.
And look at yourself, Erica, with this beautiful gift that you have. 3 people tried to suppress you. 3 people, yeah, to suppress that special gift that you have. I know exactly where you're coming from because I've had problems myself from people who have abused me, who beat me because of what I am and who I am. So that's the price we pay for the gift.
Yeah.
Anyone has any question?
I have a question sort of for you in your personal life. Um, you're a psychic, you have abilities. Are you ever, and you've had a lot of profound losses, this past year. Do you ever get angry because you didn't know beforehand, or are you ever warned, someone you love is going to die, or are you mad because you didn't know or anything like that?
No, I didn't think at that level because I don't have your ability. I've never ever felt that. Well, no, sorry. I've felt it before that something is not right, something is happening, something is going to happen, and then someone dies. That's as far.
Mhm.
I've never been specific like you, and I am human. Every loss makes me suffer, makes me cry, makes me go through the whole process of a loss. Even though, yeah, okay, I'm a medium, I know at my heart that, let's say, the last person who I lost is a very dear friend of mine, Paula, and she passed away. And even though in my heart I know she's in a better place, she wanted to go. She was an older woman, and we were so connected. She saw me as her son. And even though I still, you know, pain to see her, I still miss my coffees with her and the long chats, the silly jokes, and so forth. So we have the same thing. I'm willing to bet anyone who has the gift or is a medium or a psychic will go through the same process. Would you like to know if somebody is going to die or not? This question is to all of the remaining girls here. If you had the opportunity to know, would you want to know?
I would like to know, to spend more time with that person, not telling her or him about his or her death, but to spend more time and give him or her all my love and be with them more time.
I actually set a trap, and welcome to my trap. You're the first victim. Go on, Liz. What about you? Would you like to know?
Guilty.
No, no,
You wouldn't want to know?
no, I wouldn't like.
Is it because you're afraid of going into the trap?
No,
Okay. Stephanie, since we can't hear you very well, either yay or nay.
can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
I can't hear. I can't hear you. Say that again. I can hear you, but I didn't hear. I didn't hear you what you last said. It broke up a lot.
Okay. Stephanie says she doesn't know. As for you, Liz, what I was saying is, are you saying no? You wouldn't want to know because you don't want to fall into my trap that I set?
No, I don't care about your trap. It's okay. I, I just don't want to know.
Okay. Well, guys, it's silly. There's no trap or anything. But what I'm saying here is, uh, Paula, don't wait to know or not know or whatever. Grab the opportunity to spend time anyway. Give them that love of yours, because I know from your eyes you're a kind lady. So share your love anyway, as if it is their last day on earth anyway. Make the most of it.
Yeah, I never leave anything unsaid. You know, my kids, I text them 15 times a day that I love them. My grandmother, I did the same thing. You know, people I love, they know, you know,
That's
you
one.
never know.
Yeah, absolutely. This is how people have to deal with things. I've always encouraged people, uh, connect while you'd have the opportunity, connect while you can when they're here, enjoy people when they're here. This is the one thing that I have in common with John Edward. I like the way he thinks about this. He says, do it so that you don't ever need a medium like me to do it for you later. So connect while you have the chance here. I absolutely agree with that. Right, ladies, we have half an hour left, and I'm leaving the floor to you guys to come up with questions, um, or for you to voice opinions or discuss things amongst yourselves. You decide. Whatever you want, I'm here for you.
How do you feel about speaking in tongues?
Um, it's in the Bible. I know that a lot of people fake it. Um, Hang on, Stephanie has written a message. I am on the fence. Part of me would want to know, but then no. Uh, Stephanie says, power flickering here. Storm has arrived. So if I disappear, have a good evening. It was great to see you all. Please be safe, Stephanie. We will be thinking of you. I hope it's not this hurricane you're talking about. No, okay. Please look after yourself, okay? So, speaking of tongues, I've never seen it myself visually. I've never witnessed this sort of thing before.
I
I've seen
have.
things like on YouTube, uh, and I wasn't buying it. People were saying "Shabalabali, shabalabadabati, shabalaba," all random nonsense, and they're saying, "Oh, look, he's speaking in tongues." There's a guy who I find amusing. He's a pastor in America, Ken something, I can't remember, and he goes into this nonsense waffle like that, and people, wow, he's amazing. He's talking in tongues. I don't know. Not that I'm saying it doesn't happen. It's not happened for me. What about you? Has it happened to you? Liz, I can't hear you.
Uh, it has not happened to me, Garo.
Okay.
I just had to come up with a question. So that's only like, I don't understand it. That's the only way I ask you.
Well, thank you very much. I like the question because it actually reminded me of one thing that happened. I don't know if I've said the story before. Forgive me, guys, if I have, and I don't intend to bore you to death with it. My wife and I, we went to Mexico a few years ago. Did I tell you the story of what happened there?
Where you talked to the man, the cab driver,
Yes.
in
Forgive me.
Spanish? Didn't.
So I don't speak Spanish, okay? But I've had recurring dreams where I saw myself that somehow I am involved in South America. I've always, in fact, I couldn't stand listening to the language, to Spanish being spoken. I couldn't stand listening to music, anything to do with Spanish. I have no idea why. So ended up going, oh, Liz is gone, so I'll wait for Liz to come back. So because this story is specific for her. Forgive me, ladies. Sorry about this. I don't know what happened. Hang on, there's more. Oh yeah, this is Paula to Stephanie. How wonderful. Okay, well, I'll continue with the story just because we're gonna run out of time otherwise. So it was inexplicable for me why I disliked everything Spanish. We went to Mexico, and I sort of believed in the back of my head, although I didn't believe in reincarnation, but in the back of my head, I felt maybe there is some truth to this reincarnation, because for some reason I used to see recurring dreams, and I used to see myself as a soldier once upon a time in some South American country. And I even saw myself in an old bus that's rocking back and forth with chickens inside, farmers, and right at the end of the bus was a man who looked haggard, who looked a soldier with a rifle. And somehow I felt that this was me. Everyone was talking in Spanish, but it didn't make sense to me. So anyway, in Mexico, we were attending the wedding, had a lot to drink and enjoyed. I wasn't drunk. I was just merry, in a very good mood. I ended up uh, doing things I don't ordinarily do. I'm not the dancer, okay? I'm not a dancer. I can move a little bit, but then I think Arnold Schwarzenegger can do a better job than me. So I'm not wow. But I found myself dancing with several ladies, including my wife. And my wife was looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? And I drank a lot of alcohol, and I was in excellent mood. Eventually, we want to go back to the room, and you are driven by a golf cart type of thing back to your room. The ride takes about 4 minutes. The place is very, very huge. When we arrived, my wife's face was pale. She was shocked. She looked at me and she said, "What the hell was that about?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Don't you remember what happened during this ride?" I said, "No, what happened?" And I was worried that something bad had happened. She said, "You were talking nonstop with this guy in Spanish." And I swear, it's like you had spilt a bucket of cold water over me. So speaking in Spanish, I don't speak Spanish. And she said, "Since when do you speak Spanish?" I said, "I don't remember speaking Spanish." And indeed, I never spoke Spanish. But after that trip to Mexico, everything changed. After that experience, I no longer hate Spanish music. In fact, I love Spanish music. And for the last 2 years, I've been learning Spanish. And I love the culture. I have best friends now who come from Spain. Everything changed. I'm very sorry, Liz. Maybe this ties into you in a way to the question you asked about speaking in tongues. But yeah, it escaped my mind that maybe I haven't seen it, but it's actually happened with me.
Well, I don't know what to think. uh, I I think it's a bit scary, um, because to lose the control and speak another language um, without knowing, for instance, to speak Greek or something like that, 1 minute to another. Well, I think it's scary.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say no, Paula. I was worried. I was worried, but I can't explain it because it gave me peace. I can't explain it because that night, despite all the drinking, I found myself in the pool with a big cigar and half a bottle of tequila that I finished off for the rest of the evening. And again, I wasn't drunk. Seriously, I was in heaven. I found peace. It's very, very strange. Maybe it was God's way of making me connect finally with what I was one day. I don't know. Although I didn't believe in reincarnation at the time, now I'll say I'm not going to rule it out. Maybe it is a possibility. I don't know. Fascinating. The world is fascinating.
What?
Yeah, I believe in reincarnation. I believe because I've had experiences myself of I was at a movie watching I was 15 and Top Gun, and there was a crash in the ocean, and I was frozen in my seat because it was almost as if I had lived that scene. And it was one of the first times I ever experienced anything like that, reincarnation wise. But another time, um, I don't want to say it's weird. Um, I've almost died a few times, too many to count. And one time, I had this image of myself being a Native American woman walking by the water, and the feelings are there. It's not just the thoughts, but the actual feelings that came with it that kind of have me believe that there's more to it than just having a dream or anything like that. Even if you have a good dream that gives you good feelings when you wake up, or even sad ones if you have a bad dream or a nightmare, there's feelings behind it too, not just thought, but actual feelings.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Another subject. What, Garo, do you feel about feeling the perfume of roses, smell of roses, comes from nowhere and then disappear instantly? It is a very how do I say this? It smelled very profound. The smell of roses. It's like a perfume, but it's not roses. It's something heaven. I don't know what. Sometimes I feel it, and then it disappears.
I have several answers to your question here. Okay, so please bear with me, and uh, all will help shed some light here to help you. This is common. It's not uncommon. I'm going to go back to when my own mom died, the same day that she died, when they took her to hospital, when they took the body away from the house. My brother told me that from the bedroom to the downstairs to the living room, there's a corridor. And he said that in the corridor, there was a distinct smell of a perfume like roses. And he said,
That's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And he said he couldn't explain where it came from. And it wasn't only him. My sister-in-law, his wife, she smelt it as well. So hold the thought. Once upon a time, many years ago, I used to volunteer in the church every Friday. I had a team of ladies with me, females. At the least, we would have myself and two ladies with me. We would receive patients from different levels, mostly emotional, mental, spiritual trauma. I also doubled up as an exorcist to remove curses, spells, to remove bad energies, bad spirits, and everything as such. Many times, whenever we've dealt with some heavy duty stuff, we would be exhausted at the end. I would need several days to recover. Okay. But at the end of it, Paula, at the end of this experience, after having successfully removed the evil spirit or the bad spirit or helped the person at a profound, deep level, we would get the feeling and the smell of beautiful, beautiful roses around us. As I'm saying the story, I've got goosebumps all over. And it happened not once, not twice, but many times.
Mhm.
And we will all sit there feeling blessed. It was
Mhm.
so beautiful. To us, we took it as if it was maybe a sign from the blessed angels to say, well done for the work that you did. Who knows? But it's such a beautiful experience. Amazing.
Mhm.
Has anyone else experienced this?
I smelled cigarette smoke once, a couple months ago, and then took I don't know, I just put my recorder on my phone and I captured sound like my mother-in-law coughing.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I remember we talked about this, didn't we?
Yeah.
And you shared it with me. I heard it.
Hmm. Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised. Now that's a sign and that's a connection for you. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I don't live near anybody. I mean, there's nobody around me at all. And I even went out and tried to smell it outside or, see if there's anybody outside. But, I'm 2 stories up and there's nobody around. So, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Liz, have you ever smelled the roses? Uh-oh. Sorry.
Strong smell of cigarette smoke.
Did you say you smelled cigarette smoke?
It was I went into the yes, I went into I wasn't using, and it was just overwhelming. But she swore she didn't smoke in there, so I don't know what it was, but it was certainly there.
Wow.
And nobody smokes in my house. I grew up with my parents smoking all the time. I don't know if maybe it was they or maybe it was they're coming back, or I don't know. But it was like it kind of hit you in the face.
Wow. Well, maybe that's the point behind it all, to hit you in the face, to make you realize, like, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
What scares you about the afterlife? What scares you about the spirit world? Are you scared of anything?
I'm not scared.
Well, the
I'll be
question
welcoming it.
the question is to everybody here. Is anyone scared of anything?
No, I'm not. You better be scared of me.
I don't want to say it,
I'm,
Eric.
s-
I
I'm
don't.
scared. I'm scared if I go to the afterlife and I'll be totally alone on the other side.
I admire your honesty. I respect the fact that you're open about this. Let me assure you that you can never be alone. I will give you the answer that my communicator gave me the answer to this. Okay. In fact, this is a very valid point that you raised. My communicator once told me, he said, the afterlife is a large board of puzzles. You know what the puzzle is, isn't it? And he says, if a piece is missing, the puzzle, the picture is not complete. So you can't be alone. You need to be part of the puzzle. They will never leave you alone.
I hope so.
My dear, look, you're young. Chances are I'll be there before you. So,
No, I'm not young.
uh,
I'm 58.
okay. we're more or less close. So if you go there, you'll probably see me there. And if you see me there, you're not alone. So there you go. You can't be alone.
Thank you.
Sure. Absolutely. You can't ever be alone. We all have family, we all have friends, we all have pets. Don't forget the pets, by the way. They're there waiting for us as well. Don't forget all the people that we haven't even met, ancestors who would love to meet you. You will be busy for a long, long time, but for the right reasons. Talk about pets, look at Liz. Super cute. So final question, guys, before we end the session with all my love. Any questions? Anything? Any comments?
I have a question. If our relatives that have passed on before us have already been reincarnated, then when we pass on, we won't see them? Or can they be two places at once?
I don't believe people can be in two places at once. There's a lot of this two places at once nonsense that is shared on Proof of Life. One thing you need to be very careful of, by the way, a lot of people are voicing opinions without fact, without knowing what they're talking about. So just be wary of that. I don't think that it works this way. They tell you, oh, your higher self is up there, you are here. And what a bunch of rubbish I find that to be. I am here. There is no higher self. I'm boring old Garo. There is nothing, I can't imagine I have a higher self anywhere. This is me. And when I die, this Garo is going to be in the other side. However, what happens is Garo decides to come back here for some crazy reason. And Liz comes over and says, where is my friend? I have no idea. No one can tell you. But one thing I know is that it's all cyclical. So if we have connected sufficiently here on Earth, then we would have had a sufficient connection, a quality time, quality connection, so that if we miss each other for some reason on the other side, we can reconnect here on Earth. If the connection is strong for us here, then Liz goes to the other side, says, Garo's not here. You know what? I'm going to reconnect with him back on Earth. I'm going to go back to Earth and connect with him. Or Liz might say, you know, I'm going to wait here for him. So these are the options I can take. I hope I've made sense here.
Yes.
Okay, guys, I want to also thank you today for making the time to meet with me, to meet with each other. This has been a fantastic Q&A session. I've learned a lot from all of you. And in fact, delighted and privileged to spend quality time with all of you. So thank you for joining us today. And I pray that you will join me at the next Q&A session. I have no idea when. I'll try and book one. I'll try and arrange another one soon. Okay.
Thank you, Garo. It was amazing meeting all of you.
Thank you. If you have any questions, if you want to watch this session, it will be available on YouTube. And I will be discussing anything else in the future. Please write it down for our next Q&A session. Okay? Have a lovely, blessed evening, afternoon, morning, whatever it is. And see you next time. God bless all of you.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you,